It's super late, but we're staying consistent. We're getting our rep in and recording our video. But today was spent doing some homework as far as economic policy, given we're only days away from one of the most influential elections, of modern history. It's looking like it's going to be a clear win, but we're not exactly sure. And I will be breaking down the information that I had looked at earlier today. It's just the mental capacity is ready to call it a night. And so aside from doing some homework on numbers from the last 8 years, I had also done some calls for acquisitions before taking a nap and then heading over to a friend's to celebrate their birthday. So while today certainly wasn't a milestone day and I would not put it as a relatively productive day, my fault for today was staying up quite late. In fact, not going to bed to, do my studies on economics, just given, when it comes to voting, people can talk about things on social media all they want, but if the people in your own house are not voting the same way as you, they're canceling your vote. And so luckily, my mom, we've talked about things, given I'm the only person who really discusses any of, economics in our household. But, I've talked with my mom, I need to talk with my sisters about it, but talk with your family. Like, again, if you're a man of the house and your wife and your daughter are canceling out your vote, you're failing as a man. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. And while I'm not the husband or the father, I still do take responsibility as the oldest son. So it's my job to lay out the information and come to them in a respectful manner to be able to illustrate, hey, I get why you may feel a certain way about certain people. I'm not saying that either candidate are great people, but these are the facts over the last 4 years and over the previous 4 years. When it comes to talking with people about something that they don't understand or that they don't know or that they're unaware of, if you talk to them in a condescending manner, or if you talk to them in a way that's insulting, it's going to make it very difficult for them to be receptive to understanding another perspective. And that's the thing. Yes, people, if they're wrong, it may seem obvious that, they're wrong, but to them it's not. And so you have to be coming from a place of compassion to be able to talk with people about, issues that may be sensitive. It may not make sense to you why it's sensitive. To me personally, I think it's quite silly that people are afraid to talk about politics, yet some people are. And so you need to take that into account when approaching people on the subject if you want to successfully be able to sway their opinion. Even if you're just talking online, you can be saying all the right things, but if you want to have the greatest impact on as many people as possible, sometimes you do need to, again, just come from a place of understanding. So again, the majority of the night up until probably around like 6, 7 a.m. was spent doing some research and outlining numbers. And then we had spent, I think up till about like 11, 11:30 from 9 to 11:30 looking at properties, but I'll be completely honest, not sleeping makes it difficult to focus, especially if you're just sitting on a chair and staring at a screen. So we took a nap, and then at 5, I had to get ready as I was going to my friend's birthday. So it wasn't a super productive day, but being consistent with the habits, again, is going to be important for the sake of if you do have a day where you're doing things that are out of the norm, you want to be able to pick back up into your routine and your schedule without it being a huge conflict. And so while we are still in the process of establishing a routine and making sure that we're staying consistent with it, one of the most important skills, habits, and practices I want to stay consistent with on a daily basis is, again, getting good at speaking. And so regardless of whether my day was productive or not, I'm focusing on specific habits that are going to allow me to consistently improve in the areas I deem most important. One of those areas is going to be speaking. I'm not naturally able to convey the complexity of my ideas effectively for most people to understand. Growing up, I would stumble across my words, and even at the start of the channel, you guys can see the progression of how I spoke versus how I'm speaking now. I'm being more controlled and paying close attention to the words I'm using, including the filler words, and allowing myself to think things through before speaking, so that while I'm speaking, it becomes easier for people to understand the message. If I want to, talk about multi-billion-dollar ideas with people, regardless of what field or area they're coming from, I need to be able to put my ideas into words that they're going to be able to understand, and not just put it into the correct words, but communicate those words in a way that is going to make it more receptive for them to, look at what I'm saying and take it for face value. If you have a difficult time speaking and conveying your ideas and you don't seem confident or you seem scared to speak, even if you're saying all the right things, it's going to be difficult for people to trust the words that you're saying. So by talking into the camera, by recording the videos, and by, being focused as far as my approach towards communicating, regardless of whether or not I made, 10 conversations for the day, worked on my business for 4 hours, and then, did another 4 hour focus block, or I did none of it. I'm putting in the reps to be able to build skills that are going to translate into being able to make more money. And this comes down to habits. You need habits and consistency to build skills effectively. So I'm going to keep the video short. I was going to go over some of the information that I spent compiling last night, but I'm thinking I'm going to come back tomorrow when I'm able to speak with a little bit clearer of a mind, given it's super late and I'm ready to go to bed. But it is important for people to understand, the economics of their nation and the consequences of certain policies if they are implemented. So I will be putting out the numbers, even though we're only a few days away. Maybe, just maybe, it might get some votes in the right direction. But with that being said, I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.